The Beckham family drama continues to escalate after firstborn son Brooklyn Beckham blasted his famous parents, David and Victoria, in a long and emotional Instagram message.
They do this dance and Mark Antony's like, go put your hands on your mother's hips.
For years, the Beckham family sold the world an image that felt unbreakable. Discipline, unity, control. A global brand built not just on fame, but on precision, every appearance curated, every narrative managed, every crack sealed before it could spread. And then, without warning, the silence broke. Not from tabloids, not from rivals, but from inside the family itself. When Brooklyn Beckham finally spoke, he didn't just tell a story, he detonated one. What we're witnessing now isn't a celebrity disagreement or a temporary family rift. It's a complete rupture. One that exposes how power, control, and image management can quietly override personal boundaries, even in families that appear flawless from the outside. And at the center of it all is a wedding that was supposed to unite two families, but instead became the moment everything fell apart. Brooklyn Beckham's public statement didn't come out of nowhere. It landed with the weight of years behind it. In a lengthy, emotional message shared online, Brooklyn accused his parents, David and Victoria Beckham, of controlling media narratives, placing brand preservation above personal truth, and manipulating public perception at the expense of innocent people. His words were measured, but the message was unmistakable. He was done protecting an image that no longer represented his reality. He opened by explaining that he had stayed silent for years, making every effort to keep family matters private. But according to Brooklyn, that silence was used against him. He claimed that while he tried to handle issues quietly, his parents continued shaping press narratives in ways he says were dishonest and self-serving. For Brooklyn, that realization marked a turning point. The truth, he wrote, always comes out. And he had reached a point where he could no longer stay quiet. What made his statement so explosive was the specificity. Brooklyn didn't rely on vague emotional language. He walked the public through moments that, in his view, permanently altered how he saw his family, beginning with his 2022 wedding to Nicola Peltz. According to Brooklyn, the tension surrounding the wedding wasn't sudden. He claims it was the culmination of years of interference in his personal life. From relationships to career decisions to day-to-day living, Brooklyn alleges his choices were constantly monitored, managed, and redirected. He says he never truly felt autonomous until he chose Nicola. And that choice, he claims, was where resistance turned into conflict. One of the earliest public cracks appeared just days before the wedding. Brooklyn revealed that Victoria Beckham abruptly withdrew from designing Nicola's wedding dress, despite earlier excitement and public expectation. The timing couldn't have been worse. With the ceremony imminent, Nicola was forced to scramble under immense pressure to secure a replacement gown. At the time, Nicola publicly downplayed the situation, explaining that Valentino Couture was chosen because Victoria's atelier couldn't complete the design. On the surface, it sounded reasonable, but Brooklyn's account suggests something far deeper was happening behind the scenes. To him, the dress was symbolic. It wasn't about fabric or fashion, it was about control. In a statement, Brooklyn alleged that his parents had spent years attempting to control not only his decisions, but his identity. He claimed that every move he made was filtered through brand strategy rather than personal freedom. One detail that shocked many was his reference to a reported 2016 trademark filing, in which Victoria Beckham allegedly registered the name Brooklyn Beckham in the European Union. At the time, few paid attention. In hindsight, many now view it as an early indicator of how tightly his future was being managed long before he ever objected. Brooklyn went further, alleging that in the weeks leading up to the wedding, his parents repeatedly pressured him to sign away rights to his own name. Rights that would impact not only him, but Nicola and their future children. According to Brooklyn, the timing was deliberate. He claims his parents wanted his signature before the wedding because once the ceremony took place, certain financial and branding terms would automatically activate. His refusal, he says, affected a payday. And from that moment on, the relationship changed permanently. But contracts and pressure weren't the only source of conflict. Brooklyn described emotional moments that cut just as deeply. At the wedding reception, he and Nicola chose to seat their grandmothers at the main table, a decision made out of respect after both women had lost their husbands. Their parents were still seated prominently nearby. Yet Brooklyn claims emotions escalated anyway. He alleges that during this time, his mother called him evil. The word stunned him. And according to Brooklyn, the hostility didn't begin that night. It had already surfaced the evening before, when members of his own family allegedly told him Nicola was not blood and not family. For Brooklyn, that moment crystallized everything. What should have been a celebration of unity instead confirmed that his marriage was viewed as a threat rather than a bond. And then came the moment that would ripple far beyond the wedding hall. The first dance? Brooklyn says his planned first dance with his wife was hijacked in front of a packed room. According to his account, singer Mark Anthony called him to the stage where the schedule had clearly listed a romantic moment with Nicola. Instead, his mother was waiting there. Brooklyn alleges that Victoria then danced with him in a way he found deeply inappropriate, humiliating him publicly on what should have been one of the most intimate moments of his life. "I've never felt more uncomfortable or humiliated," Brooklyn wrote. For years, that moment was dismissed by some as awkward or harmless, but Brooklyn's statement reframed it entirely. And now, eyewitness accounts are backing that shift. DJ Fat Tony, who was hired for the wedding and positioned just feet from the stage, witnessed everything unfold. According to people familiar with his account, the tension was undeniable. Brooklyn and Nicola's discomfort was visible. Their expressions, their body language, the abrupt change in atmosphere, none of it looked celebratory. To Tony, the incident wasn't just about a dance. It symbolized years of blurred boundaries finally erupting in public. As Brooklyn's statement spread, public reaction fractured sharply. Some accused him of betrayal, arguing he should have stayed silent and shown gratitude for the life his parents provided. Others rallied behind him, saying no amount of privilege cancels out emotional autonomy or the right to speak about one's own experiences. The fallout also reignited long-standing questions about David and Victoria Beckham's marriage. Rumors of infidelity have followed the couple for years, resurfacing most recently in the Netflix documentary Beckham. While the couple denied wrongdoing, Victoria openly admitted the period caused deep resentment and emotional pain. For many viewers, those admissions raised uncomfortable questions about what life inside the Beckham household may have been like beneath the polished exterior. There have also been stories about David's priorities during that era, including claims that his career and social life sometimes came at the expense of family moments. Whether fully accurate or not, these accounts contribute to a broader narrative of imbalance that critics say now deserves re-examination. According to those close to Brooklyn, going public wasn't his first choice. DJ Fat Tony has suggested Brooklyn tried repeatedly to address these issues privately. Conversations were attempted, boundaries were raised, nothing changed. From that perspective, speaking publicly became the only way left to reclaim control of his own story. The rupture didn't stop there. Not long after the wedding, Brooklyn and Nicola reportedly held a quiet vow renewal ceremony without his parents or extended family present. Those close to the couple describe it as deeply emotional, an attempt to reclaim a moment that had been overshadowed by tension and discomfort. Now, insiders say Brooklyn is preparing to go even further. A book is reportedly in the works, one that would lay out his version of events in full. And in the world of celebrity branding, few things are more destabilizing than a first-person narrative that challenges a carefully curated image. This isn't about one Instagram post, it isn't about one dance, and it isn't about one wedding. It's about years of pressure, blurred boundaries, and a family brand so tightly controlled that personal autonomy may have been treated as a liability. Brooklyn speaking out didn't create these fractures, it exposed them. And as this story continues to unfold, the real question isn't whether the Beckham image has changed. It's whether it can ever be repaired, or whether this moment marks a permanent divide between brand and blood.